Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back, or welcome to our coverage of Pixelpop 2018. My name's Keegan, half Love 2 Gamers, and today we're hanging out with Nick and Richard from the game Umami.
Hello. Yes.
Hello. Can you tell us a little bit about Umami? Because, first of all, it's not a traditional controller. You have an arcade stick setup. So talk about the game and talk about kind of the control scheme you've got going on.
We have our 4-button normal like arcade stick setup, sort of trying to emulate Joy-Cons, but also to just bring out the big old nostalgia of what an arcade machine is.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon has a great little shopping list of different things that you can buy to build these awesome things that I just sort of took the first step towards. I've never made an arcade machine before, and it was something that I enjoy building different stuff, and it was right down my wheelhouse as a game designer.
There you go.
And Umami is a four-player multiplayer game where you play as a chef, and you have to collect ingredients that spawn out in a map and bring them back to your kitchen to cook. Or you can eat said ingredients and gain a power-up for 10 or 15 seconds.
And mess with your competitors.
And mess with your competitors. Exactly.
So, I get a lot of Overcooked vibes, and I'm sure you hear that a lot. It feels a lot like Overcooked, but I do like the fact that you do use the arcade stick. A couple reasons. One, it's going to sound bad the way I say it, but the lack of control you have with an arcade stick makes it that much more difficult to get around the map and get what you need.
Yeah,
the older input is not quite as precise as you're used to, and it's funny because we played it earlier at the beginning of the show, and then we played it again now, and I felt like at the beginning of the show I was like, I've never played an arcade stick before. So this is one of my first times playing an arcade stick game.
You had a great time with it.
And yeah, it's a learning curve, to say the least. So what was the concept behind doing the game itself? Why a 4-player with arcade sticks? Because you could have just made a controller-based game or anything for that matter.
Well, it started, we used to live together and we were watching this amazing anime called Food Wars, and we wanted to capture that.
You got a thumbs up from Tom on that one.
Oh, there we go, yeah. We wanted to capture that feeling of competitive cooking in a video game, and at the same time, we're both game designers. We like shared screen. We think that, couch multiplayer, 4-player multiplayer games are kind of lost now.
Before the things you had before the internet.
Exactly.
Before the internet.
And we saw like a whole renaissance with, barcade culture appearing, and we really wanted to help, bring that to light. Yeah.
And especially with the local feel of St. Louis, with how awesome the scene is here.
Oh yeah. So with something like this, we ask everybody who's done an alternate controller setup, monetization. Is there a way, is this a passion project? Like this is just something we want to do for fun, or are you looking to monetize it? How would you monetize it? That kind of...
It's definitely a little bit of both. Arcades are a more nostalgic thing, definitely not as popular, but as we were just priorly mentioning with the rise of barcades, it's a beautiful little mix of both.
Just get drunk and play arcade games,
Exactly.
You're fine.
Especially when it's competitive, and you can just knock into your friend next to you.
And you don't ever see like an indie studio make an arcade game. I mean, so Start Bar has Killer Queen, which is an amazing game, and that got me thinking, like, more smaller studios, I think, could have that like old school Atari, like the Atari, the two folks that started it. They just made an arcade machine, stuck it in a bar, and just wanted to see how it worked. That's kind of the vibe that we want to go for. Just like, hey, let's stick this somewhere and see if people have fun with it.
See what happens, see how it goes. When it comes to, so there's 2 level designs that you got in the game currently. One is just a giant kind of circular platform. The other one is more, I'd say, restaurant style laid out. Is that all we've got for now? Is there other plans to have more maps?
Oh yeah, definitely. This was more of just our prototype. We wanted to see how people would feel to a competitive cooking game, considering there's so much else out there in the 4-player world.
And with the food power-ups, discuss a little bit about how you determine what food gives you what power-up and kind of how you balance that, because it's very easy to make a power-up OP.
Yes, so we've got to find the right balance. At first it started with 12, but because of our small team, we scoped it down to, I think it was like 8 now, right? And so, it's a balance of what we can do as a team versus what we think can be stronger. So right now we found through playtesting that, maybe it could be a little more powerful.
A lot more player interaction, messing with those teammates. As you were experiencing earlier, that pasta, as soon as it flips your control,
you're like, I'm done.
The world is over.
Yeah, you're like, oh, there's a fire there, I'm done.
Yeah, so definitely we want to beef up power-ups, but hopefully not make it OP. Yeah.
What's a power-up that then got cut? Because you said you were trying to go for 12. Did you have a concept for 12? Or?
Yeah, we had items like water, some more traditional cooking stuff, but it just became a little bit too much.
Gotcha. what's something in the game, like the recipe-wise, what was the concept for the recipes? Because I feel like with Umami, it definitely has an Asian flair to it, but I feel like all the recipes are not necessarily that.
Yeah, right now they're all randomized just for a much quicker production build, but we would definitely like to hit more of a real recipe sort of an end with items that when they would be combined isn't like sugar, sugar, sugar. And while it might be tasty,
I mean,
it's not a real meal.
Yeah, it could be. So when you're doing these designs, like down the road, again, this is proof of concept, but like just a thought that came in my head was, say you had a level that was Asian restaurants themed, or you had one that was American restaurant themed. Would that be something you guys would look into, and then maybe make the meals based around that and have like a diner feel?
That's
level?
actually an interesting, perspective. We've been, playing around with different, kitchen feels. So right now, the first angular, more square map was like an American restaurant type deal, whereas the second one was more just like, let's have hectic craziness. But we've definitely floated around the idea of like, let's have a Chinese restaurant, then let's have like a French restaurant.
Themes with everything compared to more just being like an arcade feel.
Yeah. And then what was the concept behind having the kitchens themselves where you place the food in, having those move around? Because that made it that much more difficult to like, okay, I've got my item, now where do I need to go?
Exactly. The moving around part was to drive player interaction. So with it moving around in a circle, you might have to walk to the other side and hopefully run into another player who might want to mess with you.
You'll eat a power up and destroy you.
Exactly. Same thing with them running around on the outside. You have to run in, get your ingredient, then run back. But there's kill grills that could kill you when you step on them, or could
they
run
do that
into
many
another player.
times.
Yeah.
Those are the worst enemies. The other players are not bad. It's the grills on the ground.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. So if we want to keep up with development of the game, where can we go? What social media links? Where can we find you guys?
Middle8entertainment.com is one of our main ways to get in touch with us. We also have our Twitter handle at Middle8Games, or Middle8 Games, right? Yeah. And then we also do have a Facebook page that is in the works, but should be up after Pixelpop.
Cool. And what's the plan with the game going forward? Are you wanting to go full-scale launch at some point? Or?
Yeah, we're definitely wanting to take this one to a much further point than our previous project.
Cool.
Definitely, we're hoping to stick with this. We are going to stick with this, so keep in touch for Pixelpop next year.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you guys so much. That is Umami. It's a competitive chef game with an arcade stick. You need it. If it's somewhere near you, you need to try it out because it's a lot of fun. Like I said, we played a couple times while we've been here. But thank you guys so much for it. You guys should check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, welcome to the second level. Bye.